Welcome to Living Abundantly with Sarah Vie. I am so grateful to be here with all of you today. At Living Abundantly, we believe true manifestation begins within. That's why each inspiring guest shares their powerful story and remarkable vision. If they can do it, so can you. I am your host, Sarah Vie, an international 3-time best-selling author and lifestyle design expert. And I am on a personal mission to inspire abundance through all of life's ups and even the downs. It is officially Women's Month, and I am so excited to share inspirational and empowering guests to help us motivate all the women and girls in the world that are watching. So let's welcome our first guest. Sean Stellato is a recognizable face in the world of professional sports, particularly the NFL. His company, Stellato Sports, is a multifaceted sports representation and marketing agency. In addition to representing numerous NFL players, Stellato Sports runs skill camps, training and conditioning coaching, as well as player events and promos. Sean is also an active member in the community, sponsoring and participating in many charitable events. Oh my gosh, what else do you do? Welcome to the show. Let me first start.
Thanks for having me. I'm blessed to be here, grateful for being here. Anytime I step in New York, it's a euphoric moment.
It really is. Well, I'm so happy you're here. Let's jump right in. In celebration of Women's Month, Sean, you are a girl dad.
It's the greatest title in the world.
Of 4 beautiful daughters and, of course, your wife. So I'd love to know, tell us how you empower your girls to be the best that they can be.
Yeah, I know any man or boy they meet, they're always going to compare him to dad.
Yes.
I try to, my life has been very exciting, but it just wasn't, an instant climb. I had to cut my teeth and walk a glass mountain barefooted. Just really trying to implement in their minds and their hearts that with faith, with passion, consistency and discipline, you can do anything that a man can do. And, don't let anyone tell you can't do something and find your bliss.
Well, you are a mirror to them, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? I stand shoulder to shoulder with my wife.
Yes.
We both are. She's done a tremendous job, but they're my whys.
Yes. Yes. So, I know you've been super successful, but what I'm always so much more interested in is the rise to success. Can you give us a short scenario of, where you started and where you are right now?
Yeah, breaking into the sports business was nearly impossible, what I was told. Look, my entire football career, I was always told you're too small, you can't do something. So that's all I had to hear. And if someone tells me to go left, I'm going to go right.
Yes.
I've never been one to conform. And so, breaking that barrier through grit, through persistence, through passion, wasn't easy, but, no one said, hey, here's $1 million, go be a sports agent. We grew up very humble beginnings, 8 of us, 3-bedroom house. And I just wanted to make a career in sports because it was my identity. This ball was my compass as a kid.
Yes.
And it gave a lot of purpose. And once I found that, I just strategically planned. And look, it takes a village. And I'd be lying to say my wife has been there through it all. And, me traveling 7 days a week, always gone when we had 2-3 kids. So I owe a lot to my wife, but I owe also to coaches and where I've played. And I'm only as good as my clients. So I have took the bull by the horns. God gave Tommy DeVito, my client, and I an American Idol moment. And it's kind of like a golden buzzer. And, it's been exciting where I'm at right now.
Yeah, but I'm always curious, we have to have the right people supporting us, but with your specific demanding career, how do you prioritize, relationship, your family, and your career? And, how do you do that? Can you give us some...
Faith, family, football. I start my days vertical. I have a strong faith, and I think that then I go horizontal. I think time management is really important, and being consistent. Those are things I've really work ethic, grit. that I've really stayed true to. Even in
Yes.
successful moments, I've worked even harder
Right.
because I know the competition never sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
But being someone that's hasn't been given anything, there hasn't been any handouts, I just
Yes.
have that fire, that burning passion, and I love what I do.
Yes. And
Being a
that,
dream maker,
yes.
being a bridge to the NFL for my guys, but
Mm-hmm.
also being a role model to my
Mm-hmm.
children.
But I know your motto, and I think your book is also being made into a movie. But it is your motto is no backing down. How could you kind of guide somebody, anybody, people to apply this mindset to overcome obstacles, no matter what it is in their lives? So that what does no backing down,
Yeah,
no giving up?
no
Would you say?
backing down. I said it is never giving up, but I would say it's funny. I tell my wife, my fifth child is no backing down. She goes, "No, you're the fifth child. That's the sixth child." But listen, let's face it. Adversity is going to knock at everyone's door,
Right.
and how we handle that adversity
Hmm.
is going to, I think, equal to how successful we become.
So, oh my gosh, this is I love talking about all this. But before we wrap here, I always ask my favorite question, and I love to put people on the spot. But you can have two
All
words.
right.
But what is one or two abundant word or words that you would say that has made you so successful? You can use as many
Yeah, I
words as
would
you
say
want.
grit would be definitely, and hard work. I know that can sound cliche,
No, but
but
it
I
really,
really believe to be successful, you don't have to be special. But
yeah,
if you can find your bliss and you work, because
yeah,
I say it humbly, I'm in 4 athletic Hall of Fames.
right,
I'm not a huge guy. Like I worked, and
yes,
I try to implement that to
yeah,
all for my children.
I love it.
Like you can really differentiate yourself. You can have a great life if you have a work ethic. And I think
Yes.
about who came before me. My ancestors came here with low
Yeah,
means.
I love that. Well, Sean, this you're so inspiring. I just want to say that. And what I also want to say is that your girls are so lucky to have you as the example, as well as your wife, because we want to also know that
Yeah.
there is a balance. But thank you so much for coming on the show with me. And I loved listening to your story. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You are so
God bless you,
welcome.
my Salem mate.
Bless Salem. That's
I
right.
know,
I love
Salem
that.
mate
Salemate. I love that. We were born both in
in Salem,
Salem. Yeah, yeah.
Massachusetts.
So thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
And we will be right back. What do you think readers can expect next?
This first book is about creating inner wisdom for financial success. So it's
Toothpillow solves for access, because when a parent starts to look for attention for their child who's mouth breathing, what we did with Toothpillow was build a model to treat the children remotely.
Can you get a little bit deeper into perhaps what's in the book?
So the menstrual phase is like our inner winter time. So kind of think of that. What would you like?
I am so thrilled to welcome my next guest, Erica Ford, a world-renowned peace builder, visionary leader, and author of the groundbreaking book, The Peace Doctor's Playbook. Erica has dedicated her life to empowering communities, fostering healing, and promoting well-being. As the founder and CEO of Life Camp Incorporated, Erica has revolutionized how we approach violence, recognizing it as a public health crisis requiring compassionate, strategic intervention. The results from her groundbreaking initiative called the New York City Crisis Management System, where she is the lead architect, we need a drum roll, has reduced gun violence by 17% citywide. So let's get inspired and take charge of our own well-being and most of all, our inner peace. Oh my gosh, Erica, I am so thrilled to have you here with your work.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm
You are
glad to be here as well.
so welcome. And I'm just going to say a wow. What a difference you are making in the world. You know, incredible. And boy, at this moment in our lives right now,
Yes.
we need it more than ever.
That's a fact.
And your book, The Peace Doctor's Playbook, offers such a wonderful framework for personal and community transformation. I just can't wait for you to share this wisdom with us. Can you share a little bit about what inspired you to write it and how its principles relate to our overall health and well-being, both physically and mentally?
Yeah. That's a perfect question. The auspices of me writing this book is some of what you said, the conditions that we're in right now.
Right.
Everyone was frantic and in a space of fear and anxiety after the election, as well as just looking at the hate that was pushing
Yes.
worldwide. Right?
Yes.
I said that the tools that I use for the last 37 years to give to young people to help transform their lives, I said I need to put it in a book,
The book.
right?
Right.
And create these plays so that everybody can win their own personal championship. Because we're
Oh,
all winners. We all
yes.
do great things. We just have to relax and we have to be intentional. And so the Peace
Yes.
Doctors Playbook allows us to be intentional every single day,
Intentional.
and everything we do.
Yes, because the way you are in one area of your life is the way you're going to be
Correct.
in all
Correct.
areas. So
Correct.
many people associate peace with external conflicts. How does your book help us cultivate the most important piece is our inner peace, and how does that inner peace impact our overall health?
Yeah. So I'm a great example, which is another reason why I wrote the book. Because Deepak used to call me the angry peacemaker,
I love
and
that.
that is because I was yelling all the time, right? I had to yell to the politicians to get the money to do the work. I had to yell at the police to stop, intervening and arresting kids and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that yelling caused my body to collapse.
Yes.
Right? It wasn't that I was in a physical fight,
Right.
but my body didn't know that I was in a physical fight.
Exactly.
So when I'm taking my octane up,
Yeah.
it's impacting my intane.
Yes.
Right? And so my nervous system didn't know whether I was fighting or not. And so normally people have 2,000 eosinophils, which is your white blood cells that
Yes.
attack whatever
Mhm.
infection you have.
Mhm.
I had 200,000. And so I couldn't be at peace.
Yes.
My body was, the COVID type symptoms I had since 2016.
Wow.
And so you could just imagine, can't breathe, your body, you're weak, you can't move around.
Yeah.
And so I had to find inner peace, right? I had to
Yes.
do the meditation. I had to do the practices that I was telling other folks.
Yes.
And I just opened up the book and it says, don't try to get over, operate with integrity. And the integrity is not always to another person.
Right.
It's also to yourself.
Exactly. Because you gotta start here.
Yes, you got to
right?
be true to
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
You've
So
got to be true to yourself. You can't be preaching peace and then you're eating terrible food, you're not sleeping.
Amen. Yes. Why do you think it's so difficult for us to connect to inner peace? And, we're all wired as human beings to go into fear, and so what do you think, in your opinion, why do you think it's so difficult for people to stick with a peace practice?
Yeah. As you said, we're wired.
Yeah.
Right? And so if if you're in something, it's a habit, right?
Yes.
And so we're habitual people.
Right.
We wake up, we brush our teeth, left hand, right hand, whichever one it is, every day. We walk down the same block, we open the car doors the same, we comb our hair the same,
Yeah.
right? So we're habitual. And
Yes.
so we have to break those habits with new habits. We have to practice peace. And, Deepak would say peace is, right? But for a lot of us, it is, but we have to get into the practice. We have to apply it. We have to use it. We have to put it in every piece of our life. When we're driving, we can't be erratic and blowing the horn, road rage, screaming at the person, and then go in and talk about where the peace.
Yeah, everything is
everything.
connected.
You can't wake up your children, get out of bed. Right? It's a practice, and you have to be intentional about what you're going to do. And using your 24 hours helps because you're not rushing everything into a short period of time, right? So you're laying out your time for your day. Early is on time, right? And so you're allowing yourself to have time to breathe through every single thing that you're doing.
Sticking with it
Yes.
is always the challenge for many people. But my favorite question, as we wrap here, I would love to know, and especially from you, the dynamo that you are, what would you say is your most abundant word that best describes your life right now? Miss Peacemaker.
Intentional.
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 Yes. And with
this year.
intentional with determination.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
answered that.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh. What an incredible, thought leadership you are
Thank you.
showing all of us. Thank you so much. And I am so happy that you have come and shared this
Thank
with
you for
us.
having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Peace.
Peace to you. Thank you. Stick around. More to come after the break. I am continuously intrigued by the backgrounds of my guests, particularly the journeys that have led them to their current successes. My next guest, BiancaDAlessio, is a world traveler, having explored over 50 countries and an expert in leadership development for women. Now a powerhouse in luxury real estate, she's the broker and founder of the Masters Division of the Nest Seekers International. Known for her role on Selling the Hamptons, Bianca is a sought-after industry leader, guiding clients through the dynamic world of real estate with confidence and insight. Oh my gosh, welcome to the show. Wow.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy that you're here and learn more about this. But I'm just going to say a giant wow, because you are making an incredible mark in the real estate world. I have read that in 2020, you were ranked among the top, I'm going to say it again, the top 20 residential brokers in New York City. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's amazing. Real estate is a part of my Living Abundantly brand. For me, abundance comes from aligning with energy in the spaces that you live in. And I have 3 investment properties of my own. What would you say is your advice that you could give to someone who actually wants to start investing in real estate? Because I'm hearing 2025 is shaping up to be a really big year.
So there's been a lot in the news about real estate and trends and things that are impacting affordability and interest rates.
Right.
But I think the most important thing for young buyers right now, or anyone looking to enter the market, is to give yourself time to become educated.
Yes.
Because the dream of home ownership and of owning property in America, it's a little bit different now. It's a little bit more challenged, and it takes time to get educated before you're able to afford and pull the trigger.
I love that, because I know I did a lot of education before I invested. So what would you say is the number one trend for buyers and actually sellers that maybe need to be aware of?
I think shifting mindset to focusing on home improvement projects and finding a home that you could fix and finish over time is where the market's really shifting. I think, post-pandemic, everyone wanted move-in ready properties, and a lot of that inventory was scooped up. Fortunately, in 2025, we'll start to see more inventory coming to market. But I think there's still a lot of great opportunities out there for buyers who are willing to do some work and spend some time fixing up their property.
So DIY projects?
Yes. I love a good DIY.
I'm actually in one right at the moment. So in your opinion, what would you say makes a house, be classified as luxury real estate?
Oh, that changes in every market that you're in. In New York City, it's a certain price point. Considers luxury market. So really over the $5 million to $10 million is luxury in New York, but that's not everywhere.
Yes.
I think really what greater America would consider luxury is a finished product, something that is move-in ready. But in New York City, you're looking over that $5 million.
Would you say also like the amenities that come with the property?
For sure. The finishes, the appliances. We're in the city right now of towers, so amenity packages for what you're getting, services that you get in buildings. That's really what sets certain properties apart and consider them luxury.
Yes. Oh, that's so interesting. I love talking about this. But so how I feel in my spaces actually determines for me what is luxury.
Yeah.
I had mentioned, I had mentioned that you were a star on the incredible show Selling the Hamptons. So I've always wanted to know this.
Yes.
What is it about the area of the Hamptons that has, that makes those houses more abundant?
So it's the exclusivity of the Hamptons.
Okay.
It's really a playground for New York City's rich and elite, and the proximity to the city. I mean, when you consider luxury in the Hamptons, you're looking $20-30 million plus.
Right.
That's a very, very unique market compared to the rest of the world. So you're really operating in a whole different real estate ballpark of its own.
And are people there, renting more? Are they buying more?
So a lot of inventory was absorbed for what people were buying post-pandemic. We felt this great migration, but the Hamptons market has always had a very strong rental seasonality.
Right.
So you'll continue to see a lot of those renters coming in over the summer months. And this summer is going to be much, much stronger than we've seen last summer.
Right.
The trends in real estate are so interesting to follow. Last year, we saw everyone going to Europe. Now everyone's coming back to the Hamptons. So looking forward to a strong rental season this year.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, speaking of renting, is 2025 the year to lock in a lease or kind of wait for other opportunities?
So there is a lot of rental product coming to market. However, prices just continue getting higher and higher. So if you're in a home, I would recommend that you lock in because the cost of moving is continuing to grow up, to go up. So definitely lock in and try to get the best deal you can in the space that you're in if you're happy there.
Yes, it's a little scary when you're first going in it. This being my third property that I own. It's definitely scary. So I haven't had as we kind of wrap up here, I haven't had anyone in the real estate space answer this next question.
Okay.
My favorite question.
Okay.
Don't be nervous. But what would you say is an abundant word that best describes your life, in your career right now?
Would be mindset. Your mindset is everything for how you shape and perceive your experiences, the trajectory you have in your career, the relationships you have with your family and your friends. I think it's all about mindset. So when you pair abundance and mindset, I think you set yourself up.
And I love that you're a woman and that you are really empowering yourself to learn more about the real estate, because it is a little intimidating, and I know it was for me. But this has been so interesting, Bianca, and I am so happy that you were able to share your wisdom with all of us. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me on.
You're so welcome. We will be right back, so don't go away. New and older self-love.
I'm not sure if I was supposed to put anything else in.
My goal is to bring laughter to everybody.
Listen, a lot of times when people hear the word disability, they have a negative connotation to it due to the stigma.
Yes.
I'm out here showing people, listen, look at how fabulous I am. This could be you. Is that no matter who you are, you can make the best of your life.
My next guest has been around the block in life, as they say. Dr. Kimberly Harms has not only been an author, speaker, and podcast host, she has served as a commissioned officer in the United States Public Health Service, a grief counselor. She has coached widows. She is an award-winning, best-selling author and speaker on topics of grief. I love all that. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me, Sarah.
You are so welcome. So you certainly embody the spirit of turning your traumas into gifts and making a difference in the world, Dr. Harms. So I want to, just jump right in here and talk to you about the word legacy. We all will eventually leave one, but can you define, in your opinion, what is a legacy?
Well, a legacy is every interaction you have with every person in your life. It's what you leave, and I really try to recommend leaving a wonderful emotional legacy to your family.
I love that emotional legacy with your, yes, absolutely. So in your book, which is called Are You Ready? How to Build a Legacy to Die For, do you kind of write about how specifically we leave one and how our personal legacy will benefit those we leave behind?
Absolutely. The purpose of the book really is to help the readers learn to live with their legacy in mind every minute of every day, and then to focus on what happens when they die, what happens when they go, and leave a legacy to their children and grandchildren to help them not only survive, but thrive after they're gone.
Yes, I love that. Survive, not just survive, but thrive. Yes. So you have I've read many things about you before this interview, and you have endured deep emotional traumas from the suicide of your son, bless him, and of course your mother, and the death of your heartbroken husband. So first, could you explain what emotional wealth means to you?
Well, I lost both my mother and my son to suicide. So resilience is such an important thing. My son was a brilliant student at Columbia University, and he died 45 minutes after a breakup with a girlfriend. His whole life was going he was on top of the world, and then that one emotional breakup. And of course, my mother also passed away due to suicide. So resilience is such an important thing for me. Learning to overcome, you don't really overcome a trauma, but just work through it, move forward. And when my husband died, I found myself in that valley between menopause on one side and death on the other. And what do? I'm still here. He's gone. I'm still here. What do I do? And so I really worked hard to try to find a way to find my purpose, to find why I'm here, and to help others find their purpose and realize that, God's not done with this yet. We're still here. And to work with joy, to live with joy, and to live with purpose.
I think we all, live our lives by this next quote of yours is you die well by living well today. I love that. How has that shaped your life personally? And how would you actually guide our viewers to do the same?
Well, when you're the widow, you're kind of next in line, and I want to be next in line because I've lost a son. I don't want to go out of line with the death process, right? So you're next in line. So you got to face it. It's going to come. But the way that you die well is you live well today. You live with your purpose. You get your affairs in order. You get everything ready so that when you go, the next generation isn't cleaning up your mess. And it gives you a great amount of peace. If something were to happen to me today, I would know that my kids are going to be taken care of emotionally. I got a legacy binder with all their stuff in it. The last section of the book is a step-by-step instruction to get all of your legacy documents in order so that the kids aren't having to, go through all your stuff, go through your drawers, have conflicts because things aren't clear. I have all that in order now. So if I were to die today, I don't want to die today. I've got 6 grandkids and lots of basketball games to go to, but I don't want to die today. But if I were to die today, I'm ready. And it's a very peaceful feeling.
Yes, to be that organized. I love that. So this has been such an important topic, and I am so glad that you have shared it all with us. But before we wrap here, I would love to ask this next question is what would you say is your favorite abundant word that best describes the legacy of your life?
Flourish. I want to flourish.
Ooh,
And
flourish.
I want my family to flourish because it's a joyful living. Flourish and joy go together.
Joyful
and I want to be
living.
joyful. It's part of my
I
faith
love
too, so that kind of comes into it.
Yes.
It's like a
Oh my
command.
gosh. I love that word. I haven't heard that one yet. I love that one. Well, this was truly inspiring. Thank you so
you.
much, Dr. Kimberly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, that is it for us today on Living Abundantly. For even more content and inspiration, follow us on my YouTube channel, Living Abundantly with Sarah Vie. And I'll see you next time. And here's to living abundantly.
The proceeding was sponsored by Sarah Vie, LLC.